A big high school football weekend. And you remember the day, Ron Moshier, Utica OD, Ron, do you remember the day when we played right to the end, and then one team, got to go, and there would be two teams, of course, in each class that got to go and battle it out in the playoffs at the Dome. And now it's all changed. It's a whole playoff system.
Well, it's certainly shortened the regular season, Bill. And, when you think of it, 7-game regular season isn't much to go on. And, obviously the way it's aligned now, there are, some of these divisions, some of these league champions are decided. You have 4 league games, which that isn't much at all. But it's sort of like the tail wagging the dog. You start, if you're going to have state playoffs, you've got to, you almost schedule it backwards. Here's when the state championships are going to be at the Carrier Dome, and then you backtrack, and it shortens the regular season. A lot of people don't like that, but that's the way it is, and I'm sure it's not going to change anytime soon.
So I gotta go ahead. You're going to do an "I told you so" moment. Is that what you're going to do?
I guess so. I didn't intend it to be.
Let's debate it then.
I just wanted to laugh because I said yesterday. I said the regular season has gotten shorter, and now there's more emphasis on the playoffs. And your response was, I don't think any of that is true.
No, what you said, though, is they don't play as many games. And what I was going after is that, they do the matchup thing, and they end up still playing, for the most part, the same amount of games. But I guess that changes.
Ron, is that true?
You do play a lot of games if you keep winning.
That's a good point.
Get richer, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Programs who are... have a rich tradition get richer because, there's a state championship to play for.
Well,
it used to be that everybody played 8 or 9 games. Now that's not so. The teams that don't make the playoffs right now, they play a crossover this weekend.
Right.
A non-league crossover, to be honest, some of them against teams you may have never even heard of.
Yeah.
It's unfortunately, a lot of times you're not able to match up. For instance, a Little Falls with a Dodgeville or a Sequoia with a Mount Markham. You're playing way out of this area and sometimes out of this section. There are a couple examples of that. I think one team from Section 4 is coming to Frankfort Friday night to play a non-league crossover.
Got it.
Now, how much interest is there in that? That's questionable.
Right.
But with state playoffs, you can't have it both ways. If you want to declare a state champion in 5 classes, it's got to be done this way. And I hate to say this, but it's a cold, hard fact that league championships now, Bill, league titles
don't mean anything.
A heck of a lot. They do not. Especially in some of these divisions where Notre Dame is a league champion in Class C East. I do not want to take anything away from Notre Dame. I think they're going to win a sectional title. I don't even think it's going to be close.
Yeah.
However, winning that league title 4 games, it's a tough division, but 4 games to decide a league champion, that's not a lot.
So it took us a while to get there, but you can just simply say Manaski was right and I was wrong. Go ahead and get it over with. It's official. All right. Listen,
the league titles, basically, that's just for playoff seeding. Nowadays,
and all those old-fashioned leagues that were around for so long are all gone anyway. It's a different.
With football now being controlled by the section/state. That's the way they're aligned. We're sort of locked in there.
All right, so let's hit on what we have here. We have several teams. I love Class D because there are 4 local teams in Class D, and there's a good chance we could see a local final at the Dome.
I would say there's a good chance because we have 4 in there in 4 different games. They're not playing each other, so they each have a chance to move on. Mount Markham and Dodgeville have to go on the road Friday night. Mount Markham plays at top-seeded Sandy Creek, and Dodgeville's at Wheatsport, I believe, 2 traditional powerhouses. But Dodgeville, remember, is awfully young. They've lost 3 games this year, which is unheard of, in Dodgeville terms, but a very young team. And then the top league champion is West Canada Valley, who just beat Westmoreland 7-6 on Saturday. Todd Hoban went from New Hartford to Class D West Canada Valley, and they won a league title in Class D East. And I really think they've got a chance to make it to the finals. Westmoreland's got a home game against Onondaga on Saturday too. During the regular season, Onondaga beat them fairly handily, but At least there's, let's face it, we have many more Class C and Class D size schools in our area, so we have a better chance there. We've got 3 in Class C as well with Notre Dame, Herkimer, and Holland Patton. So, and if you want to count Sherburne, they're sort of on our fringe. Sherburne's coming to Notre Dame on Friday night, and Sherburne's playing very well. But I've told you guys this before. At the beginning of every sports season, whether it be baseball, football, basketball, I sort of write down at work on a bulletin board who I think might be playing the longest of our local teams. Yeah. And again, I'm going to jinx them again, but I think it was Notre Dame, and on the cover of season preview was Jerome Brabham, and the other day he ran for 2 touchdowns and threw for another. I mean, Notre Dame is a nightmarish matchup for anybody now. They've got the other day at Holland Patton, and Holland Patton, a very good team, mind you. Notre Dame played 3 different guys at quarterback in the shotgun, including a wide receiver, including a running back, and all 3 of them completed passes. And they have A.T. Bianco at quarterback usually. They've got Jerome Brabham, an all-state receiver who can run and throw, and they've got Nick Sullivan, a great receiver, and a tight end, Devin Smith. And then you add Kinsey Williams, who transferred from Holland Patton. Yeah. And he's one of the best running backs in the section. And how do you match up against that defensively? Sherburne's got their hands full this weekend, and I think everybody in Section 3 does.
All right, let's go to Class B. Is Oneida in Class B?
Yeah, Oneida and BBS. Oneida's on the road, actually, at my wife's alma mater. They go to Homer on Friday night. Homer's traditional power. They just lost this past weekend to West Hill, their first loss, I believe, of the season. But Oneida's got a tough road there. And then BBS is at home Saturday afternoon. I don't have it right in front of me, and now I just forgot who they play. But they're home. They're home. So we have 2 Class B teams in.
And then over on
then you got, of course, Whitesboro, who's always in the playoffs. And I actually tweeted about this, Bill, that I think they have to change this because how would you feel if you were Fowler and you just got beat 63-8 by Whitesboro in a non-league crossover last weekend, and a week later you got to turn around and come to Whitesboro and play? I can't believe they're jumping for joy over that matchup. I mean, in Class A, we don't have many teams. We've only got 10 teams in Class A, and so 8 of them make the playoffs. We have 6-1 Whitesboro hosting 1-6 Fowler.
That's
and
crazy.
I believe that game last week, Bill, was 35-0 at the end of the first quarter.
Yeah. Well, crazy. You could tweak things a little bit, Ron. I mean, boy, not looking good. And then you have RFA and Proctor as well. So
exactly. And the way it's aligned, the brackets, they could, if they're going to meet, it's going to be in the Section 3 championship game at the home for Class AA title. Now, how likely is that? That's debatable. I really think they're both going to win their quarterfinal matchups. RFA goes to Baldwinsville, and that's going to be a slugfest. 2 physical teams. RFA rested their 2 running backs, Lindell Reed and Brad Doherty. They were able to do that because they went to Ithaca, an Ithaca team that's lost 31 in a row now, the longest active losing streak in the state. And they won 28-20 without their best running backs. RFA's won 4 in a row for Ted Swadley. That's 6 in a row after starting 0-3 against 3 very good teams. So I think RFA's got a great chance at Baldwinsville Friday night. And then Saturday, hey, when's the last time RFA and Proctor were both in the playoffs? And actually one of them earned a home game. Proctor's at home on Saturday afternoon against Nottingham. And, I say RFA Baldwinsville is going to be a slugfest. That's a boxing match. Well, Proctor-Nottingham could be a track meet because some great athletes, starting with Proctor's running back, Jamarius Morgan. He's rushed for about 1,200 yards, and I think he scored 20 touchdowns. Nobody's been able, since Proctor won 14-10 at Whitesboro on opening night, nobody's been able to stop him, and that includes a 35-34 loss to Baldwinsville, which they very easily could have won. They went for 2, remember, and they got stopped. So instead of kicking the tying extra point. So, hey, Proctor's 6-1, and I think they're on their way to the semifinals. And those 2, if they both win, will be playing most likely CBA and Liverpool, 2 state-ranked powers. So
All right, good stuff. It's all in the UticaOD.com, Utica OD as well, and you can see the schedule there. They play Friday and Saturday, big high school football weekend. It begins the greatest time of the year for Ron Moshier.
Oh, yeah.
Favorite time of the year.
My wife might not say that, though.
I get it. All right, Ron, thanks so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, Ron Moshier.